In 2025 alone, Gen Z has prominently played a role in protests that have taken place in Peru, Madagascar, Indonesia, Kenya, and the Philippines. In Nepal, deadly Gen Z protests resulted in a total takedown of the government. In Morocco, Gen Z led protests to advocate for the need of health and education funding, opposing current funding allocated for the 2030 FIFA World Cup. Each of these Gen Z movements is rooted in a desire for justice, peace, prosperity, freedom, and ultimately a desire to have a voice. Gen Z is taking action in an attempt to make their voice heard. Christians must not shy away from this opportunity, but engage it. Christians can often counterproductively dominate the conversation in an effort to help. However, in Christ, Christians have a voice that should be used as an instrument to help Gen Z develop their voice. It is through helping Gen Z develop their voice that Christians have an opportunity to help point Gen Z to the solution of their greatest need. The greatest need. Statistically, 750 million people are chronically malnourished. 1 out of every 4 people in our world today lacks access to basic health services, and over 1 billion people in our world lack access to clean water. Each of these needs are especially prominent in underdeveloped countries where a majority of the Gen Z protests have been taking place. Professor Brian L. Myers, who worked with World Vision International for 30 years, notes that to understand the needs of underdeveloped countries, one must first look back to what humanity was created for. Relationship. Myers identifies 4 key areas of relationship God established before the fall: a relationship with God, with self, with others, and with the rest of creation. When these relationships are healthy, needs are met. When they are broken, needs are not. Listen very carefully to what I'm about to say. Healthy relationships do not always mean that all needs will be met, but rather, no needs can be met apart from healthy relationships. Consider the Moroccan Gen Z protesters who blamed a broken relationship with the government as the source of their economic issues. Gen Z protesters in Kenya cited broken promises. In Peru, the Gen Z protesters held up signs reading, "We demand a life without fear." The list goes on and on. Broken relationships, whether it's between man and God, man and family, man and government, and more, are at the root of impoverishment. How should Christians respond? The greatest response. Man's ultimate relationship between him and God was broken. Yet, through Christ, man's relationship with God is transformed from broken to restored. In Christ, Christians simultaneously experience the greatest reconciliation of a relationship possible, while also becoming instruments through which God can reconcile. Christians have been entrusted with the ministry of reconciliation of Christ to continue entrusting it to others. As lives are transformed, material, social, and spiritual, the community, economics, and politics follow. To restored, one must first be restored. This restoration happens in Christ alone. Accordingly, transformation is a crucial step towards battling poverty. However, transformation is not the only step. Transformation must be nurtured so it can continue to grow. Development, also known as facilitating change throughout a community or region, is the next key step. Those who lack knowledge should be taught by those who have it. Spiritually, new believers should be taught by more mature believers. This idea of stewardship is taught by Paul, who wrote to Timothy saying, "What you have heard from me, entrust to faithful men who will be able to teach others also." It should be noted that those who lack knowledge must be willing to learn and apply the knowledge they gain. It's like Proverbs 24:6 says, "By wise guidance you can wage war, and in an abundance of counselors there is victory." Ironically, the one who cries out with their voice must be willing to yield it in order to develop it. Considering this vulnerable state, teachers should take care not to dominate the conversation, but to cultivate an environment in which the student's voice can be developed and their actions directed rightly. In doing so, Christians are able to globally lead the charge against poverty through focusing on areas such as economic growth, political advocacy, relief, including helping address emergency needs, and transformational development. However, once again, the one with knowledge must teach, and the one with lack must be willing to listen. There's 2 parts because, once again, it's a relationship. Restoration happens through relationship. Conclusion. Ultimately, as a result of broken relationships, there is political unrest felt by Gen Z worldwide. The solution is for the restored to take steps towards restoration through cultivating transformation and development. This cultivation takes place in an environment where the knowledgeable share with those willing to learn, not in an effort to dominate, but to teach and train. Indeed, the greatest need, relationship, is met by the greatest solution, relationship. I want to challenge you. What are you going to do about it? What is a way that you can either A, be willing to learn, or B, be willing to teach? Now, it may be a mix of both. It may be leaning towards one or leaning towards the other. But Christians, what are you going to do about it? There is political unrest felt by Gen Z all over the world. We have this opportunity to engage them for restoration of their relationship with Christ, and through that can overflow towards meeting their needs. So once again, I leave you with this. Christians, what are you going to do about it?